Welcome to the Travel Business Unpacked, where passion meets possibility. Here's your host, Meredith Calloway.
Hi, and welcome to the Travel Business Unpacked podcast. I am your host, Meredith Calloway with Gifted Travel Network. And on today's episode, I am interviewing Jerzy Poznar of Up Close Travel. He is a newly inducted member of the Top Producers Club for 2025. And I thought it would be great to bring on someone who is the atypical gender you find in the business. I would say that 75% on average of travel advisors are female, identify as female. So it's great to showcase that it's not always that way. And I just think Jerzy has some really interesting insights that we're going to bring to the table here. So go ahead. Let me welcome Jerzy. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Nice to be here.
So you are hailing from Miami, correct? You're
Yeah,
based
I'm
in
in Miami Beach now. And as a matter of fact, you can't see it, but I am facing the cruise port. So every day, and pretty much every day, I see cruise ships coming in. And then at 5 a.m. or going out. And then at 5 a.m. they're coming in. So it's pretty cool to see it.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. And I want to get to something really fun that you got to do today in a little bit. So we'll just plant that seed and tease everybody listening that there's some really fun conversation coming up. But before we go there, tell us a little bit about your background, your professional career before you became a travel advisor, and what led you to finding this path.
Yeah, so I have been doing this for about 10 years now, so quite a while. I previous to being a travel advisor, I worked in corporate, so I was in banking in Manhattan. So I lived in New York City. I worked in corporate, and it was something that I knew I did not want to do forever. But I kind of went from one job to another, trying to figure out if this is the job that I want to stay in for the rest of my career, and never was. So in 2014, I think I got an opportunity. I was between jobs, and instead of jumping to another one, I took a little bit of time to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I always wanted to do or work for myself. And so my aunt actually worked in travel. So, it sounded great. I worked for myself. I like sales, marketing, love to travel. And so I tried it out from day one. I loved it. And here I am 10 years later, still doing it.
Wow. So did you work for her when you first started? Like
No, I
as
did
a
not. I
IC
kind of,
under her, or she just
I
kind
did.
of showed you the ropes?
Yeah, she kind of showed me the ropes a little bit. I went into it on my own. Going into it on your own, it takes a while. So it took me a long time. Luckily, I had enough money saved to where I could do it. Um, but so it took me a little while to get going. But once I got going, yeah, there was really no turning back. But I did start on my own, and I've been on my own since then.
When you say a little while, can you give us some idea of what a little while is?
Yeah, so the first couple years, I was kind of just getting by, I want to say, and enough to keep it going because I saw,
Yeah.
first of all, I loved what I
Yeah.
was doing, and I saw the potential.
Yeah.
So, and for it was a little slow going for me. I'm not, I don't go out network, so I kind of I do it other ways, I guess. So it took me a little while to get my clients to
Yes.
book. And so once I got clients, then I got referrals, and then it started to grow. But it took me a couple years. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So a couple years. And in my experience, um, the person that makes a really good potential candidate for this career path is someone who has had success in another career. Maybe
Mhm.
they have a little bit of a nest egg because this is a marathon, not a sprint, as you
Right.
say.
Right. Yes.
We believe at GTN, our travel MBA program accelerates that. I
Right.
was just like you. I left a banking career. I hadn't done the nest egg thing.
Hmm.
I didn't last that long in banking. But and unknowing to me, it took me more than a couple of years. I think I flailed around for 5 or 6 years before I
Right.
really was like, I got to figure out how to actually grow my revenues faster than my
Right.
expenses. That is a very common dynamic that we
Right.
see. And most people don't actually figure it out like you did. So I commend you for figuring it out.
Right. Thanks.
Um, and the reason, and that's why we have both the Travel MBA program, but also Travel Business University. Is the Once you graduate from the Travel MBA program, you go into Travel Business University, and everybody who is a member of Gifted Travel Network has access to Travel Business University, our Accelerate program. And the reason why it's called Accelerate is because we believe that there is ultimately a summit that you want to get to, and most people only get halfway there and then they stay stuck, and then it's really not a business, it's more of a hobby, and they're
Right.
accidental hobbyists. So I love that you said it took you a while to get the clients, but once you got the clients, it kind of all clicked. And
Right.
that's the other little aspect of who really makes for a good candidate is someone who has that entrepreneurial spirit. They love sales,
Right. Right.
and most salespeople just love people and dealing with people. And they have a passion for travel.
Yes.
And I think you, I think it's very accurate. Like the people who do figure it out, a big aspect of that is knowing how to develop the relationships that turn into clients and then get referrals. So
Right.
would you say your marketing, your client attraction funnel today is mostly referrals?
I do get. I would say I still get some new clients, and I would like to get more referrals. But I think I'm getting more and more now
Uh-huh.
that I'm in the business a little bit longer. But same as you, I mean, it did take me a while. So right before COVID, I started to gain. That's when my business started to grow, and then obviously with
Yeah.
COVID, everything went away. But the
Yeah.
relationships that I developed at that time, 2 years later, I guess it was, or a year later, they kind of stuck with me, and then they were ready to go. And since then,
Yeah.
so, we had that big hiccup, I guess. And then my clients came back and they do refer me. So I'm grateful for that. But I still get some new clients as well.
Okay. So what is it that you product wise leaned into that you feel really helped grow the business?
Yeah. So cruises. So I sell mostly cruises. I'm trying to expand over the last couple of years to other parts. I'm doing a lot more uh, like land packages. I'm doing a lot more hotels. Some higher end hotels like Four Seasons, um, Ritz. But I'm adding other things to my repertoire, I guess. So
Yeah.
and I do have to thank GTN for that, because I think since joining GTN, I think the different things that I can sell have expanded.
And that I think is basically what you're saying is having access to the hotel elite programs really
Right.
makes a difference.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like how it's made a difference for you?
Just the relationships, I guess, with our business development managers, and also with other GTN agents. So it's easy to learn during the accelerate calls, and it's easy just to ask somebody, and people want to help. So the first couple years when I started, I was really on my own. So I sold what I thought was easy, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity. So I did a lot of that for the first couple years. But with people around, other people helping, you kind of learn a lot more, and your business just expands.
Yeah. I mean, on the analytical side, and I was a bond analyst. So
Mhm.
if you do the side by side numbers of mainstream travel
Right.
versus luxury travel, it really is incredibly powerful
Right.
how it amps up the business model by just selling luxury.
Yes.
So um before you started your business, did you cruise a lot? Is that why
I
you started with selling cruises?
Yeah.
Because you know cruising?
Not really. I think I was on one cruise before I started the business. But since I have been in the business, I've cruised a lot more. And
Right.
I do love it. And, just like you said, there's a difference between the mainstream and the luxury. Love the luxury cruises. That's the stuff that I cruise now. And I didn't experience it back then, so maybe that's
Yeah.
why I didn't really do as much cruising as I do now. But yeah.
Changing directions a little bit, tell us a little bit about your work-life balance.
So I do work a lot. And what I tell my clients is that I'm around 7 days a week. You can just reach out to me anytime. And sometimes they do. Sometimes I get calls on Saturday night at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And, most people do not abuse it. There are some people that, once you tell them that you can call anytime, they'll call anytime. And if I'm around, I pick up. I love to help people. And it's part of my business. So I don't mind. But when I worked in corporate, I worked from 8 till 6, 7 or 8 at night, Monday through Friday, and then you know Monday it
Yeah.
starts over again. I did not enjoy that at all. Now, I don't have those Mondays. I love Monday.
Oh,
So
I love
it's all
that.
worth it. It's worth it. So I don't mind working every day. I can get up and I can go to the beach for a few hours, and then I can work in the afternoon. So I put the hours in, but I love it, and I don't mind. If I want to take a day off, I do take a day off.
I
So
love that. I love
yeah,
that. And I actually had the perfect opportunity to sneak in what I teased we would talk about before I asked that question, which was we were talking about how you've gone from mainstream cruising to luxury cruising, and now
right.
you absolutely love luxury cruising.
Yes,
So before we actually got on the line here,
right.
you had a fun field trip today. What did you get to do
Yes.
today?
Yeah, I got invited to tour the Explorer 2. That's the new Explorer Journeys ship. And Yeah, it was fantastic. I live like 3, 4 miles from the port. I know was stuck in a little traffic on the way home because this is Miami and there's always traffic around. But the ship is wonderful. Yeah, and they're a great cruise line too. Anybody that I book with Explorer Journeys, they love it, and so it's nice to see the ship. That's nice to meet our contacts or our reps for Explorer Journeys as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Explora is a brand new cruise line,
Yes.
and they're building their own ships. And ultimately, the concept is not that they don't even call themselves a cruise line. They call
Right.
themselves floating hotels, right? Floating
Yes.
boutique
Yes.
hotels.
Ocean
Um,
destinations is what they. Yeah.
Ocean destinations. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's designed from concept to actual physical design um is really to feel like you're on a mega yacht, not a cruise ship,
Right.
and
Yes.
give people it. Originally, I believe, I don't know if this is still the case, but originally they were targeting non-cruisers, people who love traveling and staying in these boutique hotels,
Right.
and to give them an opportunity to feel what it's like to have a hotel at sea,
Yes.
and really only unpack once. Um, I have heard only great things. I have not been on Explorer yet, but just to give people who are listening a concept of what we're talking about, it is a very different experience on purpose strategically. Um, as a newcomer to the market, they have to come up with some kind of unique selling proposition, and that's really what it is. And I think they're a great value right now. So,
Yes. They're
anyone
really good.
listening that wants to enjoy and experience the Explorer, Jersey has the experience, has the wisdom.
Yes. Yeah, they're priced really, especially that they're still new.
Yeah.
So the prices are fantastic. I think I would put them
I don't
on the
think that'll last, but they
no,
are
it will
fantastic.
not. It will not. Yeah. And so I have some guests that had sailed with them when they first started
Yeah.
and continued to sail with them and 2 or 3 times a year. That's how good the prices are now. So, and they enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
I definitely give them, I recommend them. My wife actually is not a cruiser or was not a cruiser before. And we went on an Explorer journey sailing last February, and she loves it. She still talks about them. So
That's
definitely
awesome.
thumbs up to them.
Very, very cool. So tell us like one, low point and a really well, let's start with a low point in your business, like something that you struggled with that you were able to navigate around.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, everybody could use COVID as a low point but it wiped everybody's, business out and you had to basically start over. But I don't know. I guess when I first started, it was hard for me to get clients, and it was hard for me to learn on my own. I didn't really have the guidance uh, of what to do. So for the first couple of years, really, I was kind of figuring out if there was something else that I should be doing, but I kind of stuck with it because I did enjoy it. I did want to work for myself, so that was one of the big
Hmm.
things. And so I wish I did have some program that kind of taught me the business. So I
Yeah.
think that's where GTN, like, um, if I had the opportunity or if I knew that when I
Yeah.
first started, I would certainly go that route. And I do get a lot of people that ask me about getting into, like a lot of coworkers that I used to work with years ago, what they would do, and I always tell them don't go alone. Even if you have to
Yeah.
put an investment up, it's worth
Yeah.
it. 1000%. I would not do it the same way I did it before. And
Yeah.
so I would definitely do it a different way.
And you eventually found us, so
Yes,
we
yes,
forgive
I'm
you.
glad. I'm happy, like, yeah, so I wanna make it a G10 commercial, I guess, but I
No.
definitely am happy, to be part of G10 for sure.
Yeah. What is it like to be a travel advisor, and what is
You
this
know,
life like? What's a
yeah,
high of it?
it's just great to help people plan their dream vacations. I mean, when you get somebody that calls you and then they're like, "Well, I can book direct," or "How can you help me?" And then when they learn that why would they do it themselves when they can have somebody help them answer their questions, kind of guide them? And so, that's another thing I've learned from the start. I did, I did one thing and I kind of booked one thing, and now I'm able to really like help them with a lot of different things and guide them and kind of be around for them. And so it's just a great feeling when they come back home or even during their trip when they text me or call me and tell me that they're having a great time. So that's really rewarding. Starting the business, I didn't know, you make sales, you kind of want to try to make some money, but that part you don't expect. And so that part I really appreciate from this
Yeah.
whole, from my business.
And does your wife get to benefit
Yeah,
from your career?
she does because we're going on a Ritz cruise in a couple weeks, and
Ooh!
so she gets to do that. A couple other things as well. Some of the things she doesn't get to go on. I went to a Hawaii thing for Four Seasons a few months ago, which was fantastic. Four Seasons is great. She couldn't go to, but things I have to do. You got to do it.
I mean, it's a
It's a tough business.
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So we say, we believe that everyone should have their own definition of entrepreneurial success,
yeah.
but we believe that there are three common components to it. And the three components that pretty much everyone I think would have in their definition of success is freedom, or actually flexibility is another way to say that. The
Right,
freedom to
right.
do what you want, when you want, how you want, with whom you want,
Yes,
hire and fire, whatever you want, make your own hours. The fulfillment, like you just said, of working with people and making a positive difference in their travel experience. We all know that travel is actually a healer of so many things.
Right,
And
right.
it's just really cool to be able to be a part of that. And then the last one is financial satisfaction. So if you were to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, each one of those components, fulfillment, freedom, and financial satisfaction, how would you rate each one? Or you can just give a composite rating.
Yeah, I mean, I would give them all a 10 because the freedom part's my big thing. Just like I was saying before, when you're stuck and, you get 2 weeks off a year, maybe 3 or 4 weeks if you
Yeah.
get to that point. And then now, like, you know, if I go to Asia, if I sail on the Mekong, I could do business there. So,
Yeah.
I make myself available everywhere. So the freedom part's the greatest part, really. And then making a good living, that's, amazing. So, when you're younger, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be rich.
Yeah.
But to me, rich is the freedom. That's, have enough to do, what you want to do. And that's just the best part of it. So I'm glad I found this. I don't want to do anything else. This is,
I
I wish
love
I did
that.
it sooner, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it now.
What do you think of it as a career path for someone who's straight out of college?
Yeah, I think it's, the biggest thing I think is that, you don't get paid right away. So if you
Yes.
could, kind of just get by, and it's hugely rewarding. So, you know, I think it's for anybody. You don't have to be a career switcher. You can start doing
Yeah.
this right off the bat. And, you
We
know,
have tons of people in the Travel MBA
yeah,
program who either get a part-time job while they're in the program,
right.
um, and eventually they get to quit, or
Yeah.
they stay in a full-time career while they do the program in their first year or two in
Hmm.
in getting the business established, and then they are able to quit. There's a lot of flexibility to it. There are a lot of
Yeah.
options and a lot of different
Yes.
paths to take.
Yeah. Definitely.
And
But yeah, for anybody, I mean, I would recommend it for.
are there any mindset blocks that challenged you? I.e., like the most common mindset blocks that I see are um, n- the perfection paralysis,
Mhm.
wanting to get their branding and marketing correct before they actually put themselves out there, which then is a little bit of feeling like, what value do I have to offer?
Yeah.
Doubting their worth, um,
Sometimes, yeah,
or
sometimes I
or just
guess.
doubting that there's luxury business out there.
I mean, now I don't really have it as much, but before, yeah, I mean, you always think that why would they, why wouldn't they just do it without me? Why do they need me? But as you get better at your craft, then you know that you're worth it. That
Yeah,
you'll be helping them. Um, so yeah, I don't. I mean, sometimes you just, like social media, that, things like that, then I it's hard to keep going with, continue that part, but, you know,
can you think of a specific experience that you planned for a client that you feel like, I'm really proud of that. Like that was really cool. Or,
well,
you know, they just came back and they had so much positive feedback for you.
yeah, I helped somebody book or travel to Antarctica, and
Ooh,
she was very, very nervous. Solo traveler. She had a lot of friends that were saying, "Don't go." That's she was older, so they thought that she would have
yeah,
trouble there, and she was nervous. She didn't want to book it. I finally, it took me a while, but I said, "Listen, this is something that you really want to do. We can make it happen." And so it took a lot of help, but
yeah,
I'm glad. I knew she wanted to go, so I'm glad that she went. She loved it. She had a great time, and anything what her friends said that would happen never did happen. So things like that, and I think I experienced that a lot with a lot of different clients, Europe, all over. So
yeah.
those things are really rewarding.
Very rewarding. I mean,
Right. Right.
helping someone do a bucket list where they don't think they even
Yes.
have the ability to do it. Just, I love how you took the lead and were like, we're going to make
Yeah.
this happen. You want to do
Yeah.
this? We're going to make this happen.
I worked with the BDM, the company, and
Yeah.
so I got her comfortable with them,
Yeah.
and so so she was tough but comfortable to do it, and she loved it. She had a great time.
I mean, that's a really important, subtle aspect of this business that those looking into this business need to understand is when you are able to pick up the phone and call the BDM to help
Yes,
you, they are so wanting to help you, but you have to have that relationship. And
I
so
agree.
it's important to choose the right. This is not a commercial for GTN, but
Mhm.
my advice is really do your research when you're choosing your host agency, because you want the host agency that you choose to have relationships with the products that you want to sell. Really
Yes,
good, solid relationships with them so that you can pick up the phone and just be like, hey, I need help, because your BDM is the expert on the product, not you.
yeah, yeah. And I've been part of a couple host companies, and
Hmm.
so when you call them up and they know you're from Gifted, they help you. I mean,
Yeah.
they're great. So
Yeah.
it does help. It really does.
So it's like name dropping.
Yeah, yeah, mm, exactly. Mm,
Yeah. And another one, like a mindset block that I remember, um, and it changed everything when I had this, which you just reinforced in this conversation, is um an expert is not someone who knows every single thing about a certain topic. So
Right,
a travel expert is not someone who knows everything there is to know about travel.
right.
An expert knows a lot about a topic, and if they don't know something, they know where to go to get the answer.
Exactly, and, so I thought I had to know everything. Some of the trips I was trying to plan years
Yeah.
ago was for a client that wanted to go to London, but he wanted to do a, canal cruise on the Thames and stay in different places, so I tried to build that on my own,
Yeah.
learning the different areas, what hotels are there. This was years ago, and, I mean, I that's just the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to know everything, but you have to have those relationships, and having those relationships all over the world helps helps a lot. So and even
Yeah.
meeting them, I met with a couple BDMs from Spain and the UK last week. They were here in Miami. Just making those relationships is fantastic. I'm already working with one of them on a trip for a client. So you don't need to know all of Spain. You just need to know somebody that is the expert there, and they can help you
Yeah.
and put together a fantastic trip.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that part of this business.
Right.
Um and and the I I call it like being a kid in a candy store, because I have a sweet tooth, and I
Yeah.
used to when I was really little. I loved going into a candy store.
Yeah. Who
So
doesn't?
being able to learn more and more about our travel partners, to me, is a huge part of the job that is so fun and
Right.
enjoyable.
Yes.
Were you in sales when you were in corporate?
My first job out of school, college was sales. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I kind of transitioned to just, um, you know, outside of sales, but in banking. So I do
Yeah.
have that sales background, but once I left that industry, the last 10 years, I've learned more than I ever have. Just working on your own, doing the sales on your own. You have nobody helping you out, learning marketing. You have to do the work yourself. And
Yeah.
so I learned, I'm a learner. I love to learn. I love to try new things with my business. And I continue to do that even now, just to kind of figure out how can I get uh, myself out there to help people.
So you are a solo entrepreneur currently? Do you
Yeah,
have anybody on the team?
not
Do you have an
not right
assistant?
now. I'm by myself, and so that's my next step. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking to do. Maybe take a somebody to help on, and then maybe even another agent to work with me
A
or
booking
under.
agent.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my next step. So,
And that is exactly what we would be telling you, or I
right.
know we will be coaching you to do this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love
Because
to. That's my next step.
you're
Yeah.
at the
So,
point where you're going to burn out if you don't do that. And we don't want you to burn out. We want you to continue have a business and a life that you love, not
yeah.
just
Yeah.
a business that is successful.
I'm definitely ready for that. Definitely.
Yeah. And trust me, you have the right support system to help you through that next step. It's a big step. It's a
Yeah.
scary step.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. But that's just a challenge. I love those challenges. I love,
Yeah.
it's my next step, and it's something I want to do.
So, two more questions. What advice do you have for someone who is in corporate, thinking about taking the leap, but just not sure if they want to do it? Not just, I don't know, just not sure why they're not ready, but they're just not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when I left, I had a lot of people because I updated my LinkedIn profile, said I'm in
Yeah.
travel now. So I got a lot of people that were like, What are you doing? Um, is that still a job that's out there?" So, but they're like, I would love to do it. I told them exactly what I was doing. And they hesitate because it takes time. It takes a
Yeah.
little while to get going. But just like we said before, if you could somehow do this part time, keep that job if you have to keep it. But you get home, put in a couple hours at night,
Yep.
and do it for weekends, and then soon enough you'll be able to just quit that job and kind of run with this. But don't get discouraged that it's not something that'll pay you right away. It will eventually, and you'll be happy you did.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree with like, what are you waiting for? Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it. Yeah.
But don't do it alone, find the right program. Um,
Yes, that's
so
that's big. I would definitely yeah, don't do it
right
alone.
training program.
Exactly.
Um, the last question, which is my favorite question on this podcast that I often close with is, can you tell us about a pinch me, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this for a living moment that you've had?
Yeah, so I get a lot of them now because when I get
Yeah.
to go to the Four Seasons, when the Four Seasons brings me out to Hawaii to visit three other hotels, I mean, that's amazing.
So which
Getting in,
which properties did you see?
I saw the Maui, Ko'olina, and
Yep.
the what was the other one? Kuala
Which
Lumpur,
island? Okay.
on the Big Island.
Mhm.
So they were all fantastic. I love them all, and I would
Yeah.
love to go back there again. And since experiencing those, I've sold a couple of them. So
Oh,
when you experience them, you can convey to clients a lot easier. But I mean, Four Seasons in Hawaii doesn't take. It's not too hard to convince people to go there. But places like even the Ritz Carlton Yacht Collection, they're another great cruise line. I have a
oh,
lot of clients
yeah.
that go on them. They love them. Being able to actually sail with them in a couple weeks, that's another thing. Being part of the top producers club with Gifted, that's something
Yeah.
that I got super excited. That's a couple weeks ago. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's there's something new all the time that kind of makes me like I'm so happy. So
I think I'm going to close this with, I have a new phrase for you because you just said you love Mondays. So
yeah,
I think your phrase is "Thank God it's Monday"
yeah.
is your new mantra.
I say it all the time. I say it all the time.
TGIM.
Yeah, I do. I tell my friends all the time when I know they're not feeling the same way. So,
So if you want to have a TGIM year or life,
yeah,
maybe consider becoming a travel advisor. It's a pretty cool
definitely.
life. And
It's a
like you
great life.
said, I did the same thing. I left Wall Street And I had the same thing. People were like, what are you doing? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know you could be a travel agent anymore.
Exactly.
I didn't
Yeah.
know they existed. And eventually I found success. It took me a little while, but
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
yeah, it's a very, I don't look back and I don't regret it. And
No.
I am glad I didn't waste any more time. Um, really following my head. I say becoming a travel advisor is following your heart, in your career. And I think many of us are raised and programmed to follow our head and do
Hmm.
the right thing and do the smart thing and, you know, find the right a job that's going to give you a career with benefits and set you up
Yes.
for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's following your head. But you really can have your cake and eat it too, which is
Absolutely.
following your heart and doing something that you love. So,
Well
well,
said.
thank you so much. Congratulations, Jersey.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks
Your
for everything
journey
too.
is very inspiring. I hope you know that you are in the 1% in the travel advisor community, for finding the kind of success or achieving the kind of success that you
Hmm.
have. I hope you are very proud of yourself.
I am. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Congratulations. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for being a guest today. And
Thank you so much.
if
Yeah.
anybody wants your help in planning a luxury travel experience, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. Upclosetravel.com. Reach out to
Sweet.
me there. Give me a call. Email me. I'm around, like I said, 7 days a week.
Awesome. All
Cool.
right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Travel Business Unpacked podcast, where we dive deep into the exciting world of travel entrepreneurship. If you're looking for more, we have some great resources for both aspiring travel entrepreneurs and existing travel advisors. Aspiring travel entrepreneurs, if you're thinking about turning your love for travel into a profitable business and enviable life, take our Travel Entrepreneurial Suitability Score quiz. It's fun and insightful. Just go to travelmba.giftedtravelnetwork.com. Find out if you're ready to professionalize your passion for travel. Current travel advisors. If you've been selling travel but haven't been able to grow your sales beyond $200,000 in a 12-month window of time, our quiz can help there too. Again, you can find that at travelmba.giftedtravelnetwork.com. Advisors looking for a change. If you're seeking an elevated hosting experience for the luxury travel advisor, check us out at giftedtravelnetwork.com. We'd love to chat with you. And with that, we wrap up today's journey. We hope we inspired you today, or at a minimum, put a smile on your face.